got denied by the bank, and the loan officer who was working with him gave him a personal loan, like outside the bank.
How convincing are you?
Right?
That the bank won't loan you the money, but the clerk is like, hey, bro, can I get on this action?
Right? Exactly.
Today we're doing something a bit different. We're not talking about anybody particularly. I lied. We're talking about Mr. Beast. The guy that everybody says is not a business pro, but I believe that he is. And we're doing a taste test of some of his chocolates today. Actually, it's just an excuse to eat a bunch of chocolate.
We're just going to start now, basically every podcast. We're just going to like talk about candy companies and eat the product. Can we just
review candy and food?
I like it.
Tune in next year to 300 pounds a piece.
It should be like candy and like smoked meat.
Had you heard of any of Mr. Beast's chocolate?
Only, honestly, like first time through you. But I don't know much about it.
So
do you care to share?
I feel like I have like my nephews.
And how soon can I start eating it? That's the question.
Dude, we can start. Let's preface a few things. Mr. Beast, everybody knows who he is. He's the most popular YouTuber out there. My nephews love his stuff. So every time they come over to my house, we watch all of his stuff. And we talked about this before on his podcast, where he's not just a YouTuber. He's using this opportunity to sell a product. He's got his Mr. Beast Burgers, or is it Beast Burgers? I forget. Beast Burgers.
Burger, yeah.
And my nephews were waiting till the day they launched. My nephews were ordering online. And there's millions of kids doing that. Millions. And so he came out with a chocolate company. And I felt that was cool. And a lot of people probably already know this, but he has Crohn's. So he can't just eat anything. He has to be very specific. And I know you want to try some chocolate, so we'll get into it. Why don't you read off what some of the actual names are on some of these? I'll hold my favorite for the last.
So, and we got them up here too. We've got Quinoa Crunch Chocolate, which sounds like an attempt at something healthy. Almond chocolate, chocolate sea salt, and milk chocolate.
This is my favorite. D's Nuts. If you were a teenager of the early 2000s, D's Nuts is what you tell everybody all the time. So the point is, it's like simple ingredients, only 7 ingredients, only 5 ingredients. And there's a couple of them. This is plant-based, gluten-free, his cookies, that is. No GMO ingredients, no high fructose corn syrup, no artificial flavoring, no hydrogenated oils. I don't even know what half of that stuff is, but it doesn't have it. With like Hershey's just recently, didn't you say something about Hershey's got caught with something with like their chocolate having lead and cadmium?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about Hershey's today, a decent amount, just kind of partly in comparison, but also to kind of look at the organization. But yeah, I just in doing research, like 2 days ago, there's an article that came out that said there's lead and cadmium that is, they're going to remove it, was the article. That was the headline. So presumably it's in there and has been in there, but that's not great.
No.
I'm still going to have some Hershey's though today.
So here's the thing though, 220 calories for this, and it's much, much smaller. And here's the thing, these taste, they're healthier. So if anybody's ever eaten like an alternative chocolate, Irene, you have tried some before. To me, it tastes like dust and a little bit of like sweetener in it. But these...
Let's compare. We got milk chocolate and milk chocolate.
All right, let's do it. You break open the Hershey's.
All right.
I'm assuming that Hershey's is going to be much sweeter, and that Mr. Beast stuff, oh my goodness, apparently you have to be...
Let's assess the pattern in the chocolate to start with.
What are you, Willy Wonka?
I want to see what we're working with here.
Oh yeah, like maybe it's, that's the thing about Mr. Beast is he's actually, him and his team are pretty clever and being funny about things. So I'm wondering if there's, that's hilarious. It says share, there's a little divider, and the other side says devour.
Hey, don't touch every square inch of it. You're going to share it with me.
So what I'm understanding is this part is yours.
It's for me, and that's for you to devour.
Is mine. I guess I wasn't expecting that.
I'm noticing the branding on Hershey's. Like,
yeah.
Hershey's. I've never actually really paid attention to that before, but that's wise.
But he knows his audience.
All right, fine. Well, then I guess you're going to get the share portion.
Okay. Okay.
So real quick before we dive
yeah.
into this, you've been like, you might have an immediate like arterial clotting.
I might
caused by
diarrhea
this.
on podcast, basically.
You've been doing a fast.
I did.
Tell us about that.
So out of nowhere, it's like I turned 39 years old, and all of a sudden, like I realized, holy crap, like I gained a ton of weight. And it's like you don't see it creeping up on you. You know, you have stress that you
wonder what could cause this for us. as we
overlook
look
this.
at this huge table filled with chocolate.
No, but I wasn't feeling good. And I was like, you know what? I eat so much sugar. I drink so much sugar. I'd like to be done with that. So about 3 weeks ago, it's about a month ago, I started intermittent fasting where I'd only eat after 2 o'clock. And come 10 o'clock, I'd stop eating.
Which sounds really tough.
I mean, it was.
I used to not like breakfast, but then I really liked breakfast, and I now like
Breakfast
it's
is
weird to not.
good.
It's weird to not eat. So you like breakfast?
I
You
love breakfast.
So what's the point of waiting until after like 2?
I just sleep till 2. No, no, I get up.
Then it's easy to not eat till 2.
No, if I get up and I do something like violently active, like I'll just go to the gym and I'll just lift a bunch of weights real quick, my metabolism will kick in. And then hopefully by that time I'll burn off more fat. And then I'll just eat more later. Well, then I turned it into, I was like, I got to stop eating sugar at all. Like I'm still gaining weight and doing this. So what I did was I cut sugar out and I would only eat meat. Like it was only eating like eggs, steak, and chicken. Fortunately, I bought a whole cow like a year ago and I still got a bunch left.
Can that be the next time that we do like a taste test? Like let's get all
It's a
4
cow.
of us. I'm talking to Jake's wife who's switching for us. Irene, I think you and Leah for your podcast. You guys should all come on. We do a combined podcast and we taste grass-fed beef versus
It's real.
like regular beef.
Grass-fed, it's so much better.
Yeah, you into that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think that would be like, that'd be healthier.
Oh, what if we tricked them? We mislabeled it and see if they so let's do a little bit of
To see if you could tell. She would tell.
You tried to do that to me with Starbucks, and I knew it.
I'm such an
Wait,
asshole.
Starbucks has beef?
No, I would like pour out her Starbucks and make Starbucks and put it in and see if she would notice the difference because it's just black coffee, but to her, she's like,
She
no.
could tell.
Yeah.
One day I was like, why does this taste like gas station coffee? And it was. He brought me a gas station coffee in a Starbucks cup.
How dare you?
I wanted to know if it was legit, like she could taste the difference.
See,
and it turns out she can, and she hates me for it.
We recently said in one of our podcasts that Starbucks we've
It's
drank
trash.
a lot of it and we don't love it, but this is further evidence that we've drank a lot of it for a long time. Anyway, chocolate. Sorry, and you're fasting.
So I did that for a week, and I was like, the cravings for sugar were gone. I was like, I could probably do an entire fast where I eat nothing. But I was like, I don't want to eat nothing. I've got a little bit of a health issue, so I need something. So what I'd do is just once a day, I'd have what would be like equivalent to a cup of coffee, a small cup of coffee, but it'd be bone broth. So it was just bone broth, chicken bone broth. Like it was
So not coffee.
No, but like a size of a coffee cup. I did no coffee, no sugar. So it's been basically 3 weeks since I've eaten normal. We found out we were going to do this podcast, and I was like, whoa. The first time I really eat anything in like 2.5 weeks.
And we're going to
especially
just fill
sugar.
you full of sugar.
So I broke the fast yesterday, and I put all the good nutrients in my body, which apparently is like, they really highly recommend sauerkraut when you're getting
for your gut
good for your
microbiome.
Yeah. And then probiotics, eggs. So I did all that stuff. Last night, my stomach was upset. So we'll see what today is like. So anyways, let's taste test. Let's go with some Hershey's first.
All right, we're going to try Hershey's.
No. Mr. Beast. We'll do it first. Let me see. Oh my God. First off, it's been a long time.
This would be a good show to watch, by the way, on YouTube versus listen to, because otherwise you're just going to listen to rappers and gooey chocolate
No,
sounding
not the
mouths.
LL Cool J kind rappers. This is really good.
It's good. I like it.
Man, it only has 5 ingredients, and I'll bet you one of them isn't lead. Well, I mean, like, that's the problem. That's really good. This is really good.
That's really good marketing too, by the way. Only 5 ingredients. Not one of them is lead. That should be on the. This should be on the wrapper.
Well, and what's funny is he makes fun of Hershey's all the time.
Probably could be on the wrapper now.
Hold up real quick. With like Hershey's stuff, there's so much stuff on here that you cannot pronounce. I don't know what that is. Like a lot of
Carbohydrates is a hard word, Jake.
I can read, But I'm just saying, like, some of these ingredients are a little confusing, especially.
What is lecithin? It says it's soy. Lecithin.
Yeah, but like half the time, I don't believe half the stuff they say. Hershey's since 1894. All right, so I'm gonna try some Hershey's. Have you tried yours already?
Nope.
Ooh,
I mean, I have historically eaten Hershey's. I've tried it, but
it's just softer a bit.
it is a bit like smoother, milkier. I'm not sure that well,
Oh, out of the
it's good. It tastes like Hershey's.
it tastes like her. Let me go back to Mr.
Yeah.
Beast. I actually like the little crunch. I like that. Okay. It's comparable.
What?
There's
just
a lot of
listening to-
mouth noises coming out of those microphones.
It's just like, who wants to hear two full-grown men? Oh, yeah.
It's real milky.
We just lost half our subscribers. Okay,
Look.
that's damn good.
Yeah, that's some competition. That's good.
That's some real competition. All right.
I'm sorry. That's why I'm saying you should probably watch this on YouTube and
Yeah,
not just
please
listen
do.
to our mouth noise.
Please, Mom, don't just listen to this one on the podcast or on headphones.
All right, that's good. I like it. What are we doing now?
All right, so I found a comparable one, which is milk chocolate with almonds. I believe there was an almond one. Do we have any like water with
This
me?
one has peanuts.
That may be.
You're not allergic to peanuts, right?
No, it's. I haven't had sugar
Are we having D's nuts?
yet.
Was that
Yeah.
the plan?
One
wait,
of them
here,
is,
open
wait,
them.
one of them is actually almond. I thought almond chocolate.
Oh, okay. You want me to open that one?
Yeah, is that your water over there?
No, I don't think so.
It's probably your wife's because she takes the label off of things.
See, this is why you guys are such good friends. I don't know that about her, but you know that about her, that she takes the label off of things.
I just want to know why I can't open.
She said this was probably my wife's because she takes the label off. That's like news to me, but
Well, because she's been in showbiz, she knows you take off the labels. Whereas today we are just nothing about labels. Why
What does
am I
that mean?
struggling? So that you're not giving away free promotion.
oh,
Holy heck, Hershey's. There's a lot of stupid people out here like myself who can't open Hershey's. Irene, you want to try
you
something?
got them slippery chocolate fingers right now.
Irene, you think you could? Here, I'll throw it off camera. Oh.
It's couch chocolate now.
So my wife, she has to be gluten free. She's definitely allergic to anything gluten, which is bread or anything wheat. So she can actually eat this. Here, there you go, buddy.
So this also is the share devour.
Good. Break me off a piece of that not Kit Kat bar.
I learned that Hershey's owns Kit Kat.
Hershey's owns everything. And I
Reese's?
predict one day they'll probably own Feastables. And when they buy them out for $1 billion. Okay, so this is,
These are the same, right? This is almonds and almonds. Is that what we're?
yeah, kind of.
All right. So we have a Hershey's bar with almonds, and we have, what are they calling this one? From Feastables, they're calling just almond chocolate.
Almond chocolate.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Which one are you doing first?
I'm doing Mr. Beast first.
Okay. Similar crunch.
I'm not a huge fan of,
My wrapper is flipped over. We're gonna have to clean this table off when we're done.
oh yeah.
Doesn't say dark chocolate,
It's
but it
pretty
tastes
good.
that way.
It feels like dark chocolate.
All right.
All right, Hershey's.
Is it basically the same thing? Just like it's the same taste, just with almonds?
I think so.
Because it seems that way.
What's
that would
so
make
weird,
sense.
I can't taste the difference between these two. And I know it's me. So Mr. Beast is a YouTuber going up against a hundreds of billions of dollars Hershey. Kudos, Mr. Beast. This stuff's pretty damn good. I don't know who's actually manufacturing it. I know it's not him and his buddies in their YouTube room trying to make these, but
I'm curious about the number of almonds per square inch. If because it seems like in eating the two that Hershey's has more almonds in it, but I could be wrong.
well, one thing too, it's interesting. For a pack of like 4 of them, this was like $4. No, it's actually a pack of 2, 4, 6. It was 8, 2, 4. It was 6 of them once in Irene. 6 Hershey's was like $3 total. This was basically one of his is $3.
Okay.
So the price is not comparable, but also Mr. Beast isn't producing at the scale at which Hershey's is. And the same thing with, we go back to like the podcast we did about Prime, where they're using their platform to then sell another product. Now they're not manufacturing it. They're not on the factory floor. They partnered with people who know what they're doing. They're part of the branding. Ooh, this is good.
That's good.
Do you want some almond? So this is
Just
probably the
slinging
best
chocolate
podcast for us. The worst podcast.
This is the best one we've ever done. I got to say.
All right, let's try.
It's definitely the most delicious one we've ever done.
I'll tell you what. Let's actually. I'm going to pull up the commercial for this. Now he originally released a few flavors.
Does this
He
one have
released
peanuts?
it
What's in
around
this?
the same time. So no, it's
Peanut butter.
yeah,
Okay.
peanut butter.
Oh,
So it's called D's Nuts, and it's rather limp. So he released, I believe, these chocolates around the same time he did a remake of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
oh yeah.
So kind of brilliant. I believe that video, probably has over 100 million views right now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and push. I want you to see. I haven't seen this full commercial that he released. Apparently, he was going to release it as a Super Bowl commercial. Maybe
Oh,
not
really?
this one, but just like an ad about Feastables for this new.
He was going to pay for a Super Bowl spot?
Yeah, he can afford it. But then also, he has 100+ million subscribers. Does he really?
Right. Does he need it? Like, how many of those people are watching the Super Bowl in that moment?
He probably has a couple of videos that have more views than the entire Super Bowl would have. That one, did you see that one that he did where, Irene, help me out. It's the one where it was that fad that was in 2020. It was a TV show where everybody got killed. Oh my goodness. I'm blanking. Search that real quick while my nephews are going to hate me. But anyways, here is the
Are you talking about with
Hunger Games. Not
Hunger Games.
Is it Hunger? No,
Hunger
it's
Games.
not. No, is it Hunger Games?
You didn't give us a lot to work with.
I
but
know that was terrible.
A fad in what'd you say?
Well, it was first
Fad
off
where everyone got killed.
in 2020. Yeah, that was terrible.
2020, that wouldn't have been
Squid
Hunger
Games.
Games.
Squid Games.
Squid
Thank
Game-
you.
Okay.
But like that one got like 100+ million views. Like
The
just
show?
no, his video about it, his remake of it, like quick within like a few days. But anyways, this
Did you ever
is.
see Squid Games? I never saw it.
I never did, so I didn't know. I saw Mr. Beast before I saw Squid Games. A lot of it was because everyone was like, "You gotta watch it. You gotta watch
I know.
it."
I
And
don't
I'm
watch
just like,
when people do that. Like I've never watched Game of Thrones for that reason. I just and it took me like a decade to watch Lost.
here's the summation of Game
Enjoyed
of
it
Thrones.
by the way when I finally
Right.
watched it.
The summation of Game of Thrones for you, since you haven't
Yeah.
watched it. A lot of nudity, crazy people, horrible ending. You should watch it. Just not.
I don't think I will. See, you're not making the case you think you are.
The storyline's great. Weird nudity. It made me uncomfortable. I don't know why. But anyways, so this is the commercial that Mr. Beast released about this bar.
Is there nudity in this?
Maybe.
What's the biggest thing you've ever made?
The biggest thing I've ever made. Probably D's Nuts.
When Jimmy told me about D's Nuts, I knew it was going to be huge.
When Jimmy first told me about D's Nuts, I thought he was crazy.
I love these nuts.
Same.
I keep a pair on me at all times.
These nuts taste so good.
It's like this amazing peanut butter chocolate flavor.
Nut tap.
That's good nuts.
You have to try these nuts. Go to Feastables.com right now if you want some nuts in your mouth.
If I was 15 years old and had $20 million, I'd be doing exactly what Mr. Beast does.
You'd buy a bunch of them and you'd ride in the back seat with your siblings while your parents drive,
Here's
and you're like,
D's
"Here's
nuts."
these nuts."
Yeah. Oh man, we'll try it.
Yeah.
But coming out with a comedic ad like that is good. He knows his audience.
For sure.
Ooh, that's you.
Ooh, I got some Devour. Okay, I'm kind of making a mess, but here, take some. of
Okay,
this.
so the ingredients are simple.
I'm gonna have some.
All right,
good
let's
butter.
try. I'm gonna try these nuts and see how they taste. Okay, the peanut butter is good, but I haven't touched a nut yet. I'm trying to make my wife laugh. Kid's a business pro.
I'm not into that.
Not into peanut butter.
I don't think I like that. I just don't.
I don't think I hit a nut. I can go with these all day.
See, Mr. Goodbar.
See, here's the thing. I
like
haven't
that.
tasted sugar in like 2 weeks.
Is your brain just like pinging right
It's
now?
like boom. It's like
It might as well be cocaine.
These nuts are exploding. I'm too tired.
See, this is why. This is why you brand it this way. Because
'Cause it's
people will
funny.
go out of their way to joke about
Irene,
it.
try this and see what you think. I haven't had this much. Like, I'm like sweating a little bit. There you go.
You're getting the chocolate sweats.
A little bit. So one of the things that
I don't like it. Did you like it?
I liked it, but literally I haven't tasted sugar in like forever.
I'm not into it.
Okay.
But the other ones were really good. I don't really believe it's real peanut butter. And I can't,
It says,
I don't want to misspeak, but
It says it's peanut butter.
The taste is more comparable to like a Heath bar.
I can see that. Distributed by Feastables Incorporated, Chicago, Illinois.
peanut butter is not listed in the, wait, is this the right one?
Oh, no, you're this one. You're the wrong one.
Oh, okay. I was going to say peanut butter's not even listed in the
You're like,
ingredients.
it's false. Lawsuit.
What do we got here?
So one of the things I want to talk about real quick, Dave, I want you to hear this because I feel like it's a brilliant move.
Peanut butter's not listed here, but peanuts.
Irene,
is
what do you
listed.
think?
I like it, but not if you're comparing it to a Reese's. It's not that, but I think it's delicious. But it reminds me of a Heath bar.
I thought it was
without
great.
the crunch.
Apparently it's you, not the nuts. Okay. So Dave doesn't like nuts. He doesn't like D's nuts.
Yes, I like Doe's nuts, not D's. What were you going to say?
So
I'm going to eat D's nuts.
these little QR codes on the back.
Yeah.
He knows his audience and he knows that they want to be a part of Mr. Beast movement.
Let me try it out.
What it takes you to is the Feastable site. I believe it's a Facebook link that goes to something, but here's what happens. If you go to Walmart, which is where they're mostly at, Walmart, it's hard to get shelf space because Hershey's has been doing business with Walmart forever. Hershey's, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, it's so hard to get any shelf space. In fact, sometimes you have to pay for that shelf space. So I don't know how they got it, but they got some shelf space on a good part of Walmart. But things get ugly and people pull bars out, people break bars, things start to fall over and it looks bad. If things run out, people won't order it if it's misplaced. Okay, so what he did was you have a chance to win $5,000 if you take a picture of the shelf beforehand. Show how messy it is and how the bars are out of place. And then if you straighten it all up. And then if you take a picture of it afterwards, showing that you straightened it up, you're entered in the chance to win $5,000. And maybe a month that they do it. So what he's doing is he's outsourcing all these kids to be a part and clean up the shelves. And if it's empty, you can go. He recommends go ask a worker for more Mr. Beast bars.
There's like a landing page. So when you scan the QR code, it takes you to a landing page. There's a few things you can engage with, two of which at the bottom here are more videos, Mr. Beast videos, just kind of like unrelated, but which is wise. But the four options are help me fix our Walmart shelf and win $5,000. Number two is tell us what you think about our products. So probably some kind of survey. Third one is rock, paper, scissors, play now. And then fourth is buy more Feastable. So what he's calling the shelfie cleanup.
Yeah, and I love that. And he was saying, hey, as much as we want to see your face, no pictures of yourself with the shelf, just shelfies, which is funny instead of selfies.
So here's what he says. Back
I
to
don't
what
like
you
the Hershey one.
Back to what you're talking about, addressing the question of how can I successfully clean up the shelves. So number one, check if the product is on the shelf. And then what you were talking about, number two, if there is, pull the boxes forward and make sure they match the tags below them, which like now he's having them basically be Walmart employees. We want the next.
The fans want to help though.
No, I know. No, I didn't mean that.
My
as
nephew
like
had me do this twice already.
We want the next person to see that Feastables bars are the Feastables price. And then it says, no bars on the shelf. Go find an employee and ask them to check to see if there's product in the back room and ask them to bring them out so you can put it on the shelf to match the tags.
And by
and it
asking,
says be courteous. It says be courteous. No one likes rude people, and we want Walmart to enjoy selling Feastables and our fans being a mutual customer.
But isn't that brilliant?
Yeah, I mean,
because here's the thing. When my nephew, I said, hey man, my phone, I don't have any signal in this Walmart because there's no towers nearby. He said, that's okay. We can just straighten it up so his stuff looks good. He wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 10 years old. He wanted to do it just to be a part of it. And so I feel like that's cool. It shows like the new entrepreneurs.
Well, and just to close the loop here, like what's actually being asked to be done is to take a before photo and an after photo, right?
Yeah.
Like you clean up the shelf and then take an after photo and then submit both to show that you've done it, right? Yeah.
Now, you had said something about him regretting something about chocolates. Was it just or releasing Feastables? Was it mostly what'd you read about that?
I saw an article that he regretted chocolates being kind of the first thing that he went into. It's made like $10 million though. So maybe he
Since
regrets
January, right?
So maybe he regrets it less, but I'm not sure since when, but that was the number that I saw.
But what a good way to introduce because he started off with the burgers. I mean, he's into chocolate. Later on, he could come up with a healthy drink later, and I think the kids would buy it, especially as they grow up. Chocolate sea salt. I want to try this one. Irene really loves.
I think Feastables just in general, total has earned $10 million.
That's still pretty good, man.
Also, if you can see this, for anyone that can see this nasty laptop, it's got a lot of my wife's fingerprints on it.
Whatever, it's chocolate. He was eating it earlier. I'll give you the devour section.
Nice. Which one is this now?
This is chocolate sea salt.
Nice. Well, here, let me keep that with it because
Oh yeah.
in case we want to
I've been just throwing them to Irene. Irene has them all back there. Here, take this piece.
She did. She
Yeah,
may not anymore.
If you don't want this, you don't have to come get it. Of course she does.
She wants it.
There's a reason why I put on a lot of weight. Me and my wife love food. Let me taste this.
That's pretty good. I mean, again, honestly, wasn't super impressed with D's nuts, which is not a phrase I've said
look
before.
Closer.
The rest of these have been very good, though.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I feel like I'm not a good judge, because I haven't had sugar.
Did you try it?
What do you think?
It's good. I think I like the regular one the most so far.
You talking about just the regular
Just the regular.
milk chocolate?
She likes that grass fed. Mm-hmm. What else? Quinoa crunch. Are we going to get into that? I don't know what to do about that. That seems like an interesting choice.
I just feel like this is the future of a lot of young entrepreneurs is utilizing other platforms to introduce products instead of spending, millions upon millions of dollars advertising. Use your platform. We're going to talk about that. What's that one girl who she was a blogger or she'd be a vlogger?
Cheers. No,
sorry.
Don't steal it.
Cheers.
Do you like quinoa?
I like it. I don't know what it is, but it tastes. I swear, I'm terrible.
Do you like quinoa? Ugh.
I don't even know what quinoa is.
That surprised me a little bit. The was not fair. That sound wasn't fair, but it's like a little surprising.
To me, it's like Kit Katty.
That's pretty good, actually. I just wasn't ready for it.
Emma Chamberlain. We'll talk about her coffee one day. She utilized her channel and she's selling a little bit of not high-end coffee, but coffee.
Yeah, let's.
Oh, you want to talk a bit about?
You should try this, Irene, because I'm curious what you think.
Yeah.
I've had the quinoa one before because it was the only one I could find one day. And
Did you just put your chewed-on piece back into that wrapper?
I am a barbarian, just to let you know.
He took a bite of it and slid it back into the open wrapper with the rest of the chocolate.
What's that old saying? Was were you born with the barn door open or whatever it is? You ever heard that old saying?
Yeah, that's close.
Whatever
But that's
it is. I'm like, yes, I was.
That's like taking a big swig out of the milk jug and putting it back in the fridge for the rest of us.
I'm like a poor boy from the South, man.
Sorry, Irene, what did you say? Quinoa?
I'm not a huge fan, but I'm not a huge fan of a Crunch Bar or a Kit Kat anyway. So,
Are you a huge fan of the D's nuts?
yes.
Okay. That's right, juice, baby.
Yeah, I don't.
That's my wife.
I don't think I need to be part of this conversation anymore.
By the way, if anything, thank you, Mr. Beast, for the good jokes. My nephews and I have had a blast with talking about D's nuts.
So here's the thing about Prime and about Feastables, Beast Burger, Emma Chamberlain. I think part of why people connect with the products and the brands is because they're not just throwing their name on something. You do get a sense that they have some degree of involvement in the creation of the product. And I think that it's
Yeah, because you can go on their YouTube channel and be like, hey, man, these nuts suck or whatever it is. And then you have a voice. Whereas like if it's a corporate high tower that you're never going to go up against someone at, you know, Pepsi, whatever.
Yeah. So it's just, it seems like because like there was a kind of a period of time where celebrities would just attach their name to a thing
All the time. And never have tried the product.
Yeah. Or have no deeper connection to it than just like they get a paycheck to, to endorse it. But
I think it's me.
let me see.
I'm such a dumb fuck. I can't open this stuff.
But like these products now, like the actual, like these YouTube stars they're marketing experts.
Oh.
And so,
well, because every video they do, they live and die by.
I know. So they're marketing experts, and they're putting that energy and that time and that creativity into these products. And good for them, you know? All right, go ahead. Ooh, that smelled pretty good. We're trying cookies now.
So he's got, I think this is his entire life. I spent like $56 on chocolate.
For real.
I've never spent that much money on chocolate at one time.
Did you go through self-checkout?
I did, yes.
Okay, good.
I don't go through normal checkout.
Because I don't want somebody sitting there watching you as a grown man, like going through the line with like 10 pounds of candy bar chocolate. And you're just
it's
like,
been a depressing week. I need some love.
I've been on a fast.
I'm already like, I feel my like jittery from the sugar.
I'm not there yet, so I'm going to keep going.
Let's try this real quick. I'm not a fan of peanut butter, so let's try this so I don't have this as my last taste. Let me see.
We're going to have to get you like some real food after this.
Chipotle.
I have this inkling of Chipotle.
Are you hearing voices?
Yeah, I'm hearing God. And you know, honestly, this reminds me of the cookies they used to hand out in Sunday school.
Good.
Like, you know, just like they're stockier.
These don't look great. I got to say that. They're not exactly pretty. Like as far as cookies go. I don't know if you can see that.
It's okay.
But the marketing's good.
I would say I don't like cookies in general. Only cookie I've ever really liked was some Oreos, and I'm starting to not like them anymore because they don't taste like they used to back in the day. Plant-based.
Gluten-free.
Yep. And this is important in our house because like, my poor son can't have anything with dairy and gluten in it. So he's kind of screwed half the time. So he'll probably love some of these. Let me see this.
Did you have these in the freezer?
I did, yeah. So they're a little hard.
The freezer or the fridge?
Well, it's a fridge freezer, but it's a combination where it's a thicker shelf that separates the freezer from the lower section, and it just freezes down. It's
because it's like harder than I expected.
These are actually harder ones, but I helped it out by throwing it next to the freezer. Let's talk a little about Hershey, because Hershey started off as just a guy.
Milton Hershey.
Milton Hershey, yeah. Which, by the way, talk about an egotistical thing. Nowadays, like entrepreneurs name things like Hulu, Venmo, like all these weird abstract words. Back then, it was like Hershey, my name's Hershey. Ford, my name's Ford. You know, JP Morgan. It's like, think outside the box, bros. However, I like the chocolate chip one.
These are very, as far as cookies go, they're very healthy.
But they taste like shit.
Usually that comes at a cost. When you have junk food that's healthy, that comes at a cost. I'm tasting that cost here. I'll just say.
But I will tell you this, for someone who's been eating pretty healthy lately, that's pretty good.
Are you like the health food expert now?
No, I just haven't had sugar in 2 weeks. I haven't even eaten anything that converted to sugar in my body.
Today, just now, you've probably eaten more sugar than you've had like in a year.
Oh my God.
At least in like a condensed form.
I feel a little like I'm having like a diabetic, like a little bit of a shake.
Are you?
Mm-hmm. So you would learn some stuff about Hershey. I'm curious, just a little bit. Run me down some facts.
I still say that this is the best podcast we've ever done.
Ooh, next time we should do something on Chipotle, and we'll just bring Chipotle. I know so much about Chipotle.
Chasing Mountains, seriously, it's just going to become, what can we eat and talk about?
About rolling up the mountain.
Hey, if we're going to talk about founders and we're going to talk about companies, it might as well be companies that we can engage with the product while we talk about it. Yeah. I like this. All right.
I kind of want to. I want to see who actually manufactures it.
It says Feastables.
Yeah,
in
it does.
Chicago. Do they all say Chicago?
A couple of them did. I just want to see who actually manufactures them. If
We're
it's
not far from Chicago in Illinois.
I would go see who does this. Greenville.
Well,
the
Greenville is
designed
them.
in Greenville, North Carolina.
Yeah, Greenville is everything Mr. Beast. That's where they're located. But we should figure out. Let me see where Feastables actually is in Chicago.
I'd love to go see the actual product line, how it's made. I just think a kid. What's he? Can you look up how old he is? We did a short on Mr. Beast, and at the end of Mr. Beast, I called him a business pro. So many people hated the fact that we called him a business pro. Mind you, it was a long conversation. We cut that section out. But the kid is a business pro. And I know they didn't like the short, particularly because they thought we said he was a business pro because he tweeted at Mr. Beast. But that's not the case. The reason he's a business pro is right here. We're seeing, like, if Steve Jobs would have started a YouTube channel, this is what would have happened. He would have tried to figure some way to capitalize on his success and views. And I think this is only the beginning of what Jimmy's got in store.
Yeah, but so I'm impressed because Feastables legitimately seems to be his creation and his company. He's not like outsourcing the manufacturing distribution.
He definitely has the money to start that stuff up.
Yeah, but like,
whereas Beast Burgers is joints that already have a kitchen. He's not building,
right. But this appears to be candy manufacturing at a pretty large scale out of Chicago.
And you're not competing against just other mom and pops. You're going up against Hershey. When you're putting stuff in like Walmart, they don't like that. And it's kind of like once you get to that like $300 million a year mark, that's when Hershey you're just starting to step on their feet. But and that's the question is, do they squash him or do they end up buying him up? But who knows?
So you want to hear about Hershey?
I do.
My wife and I went to Hershey, Pennsylvania, a while back to perform music.
What'd you think? Beautiful country?
We just went to the venue.
Damn you.
Pennsylvania's pretty cool though, just in general. We've been there several times, but yeah, I think honestly, I think we flew into Hershey. I'm not sure we performed there, but
can you hand me back a little bit of the the regular chocolate, milk chocolate?
So, quick numbers. 2022 revenue for Hershey's, $10.4 billion.
Gosh, that's so much money for like something full of lead and cadmium. I'm going to go back to that.
I wonder if you break it down like per
Thank you.
like from like a dollar and cents standpoint, how much
They're calculating out
is
the
lead.
laws. Why? Yeah, but at any point in time, why would there be any contaminant like that in it? As you go down the health track, you start looking at food. You're like, that's not food. That's like industrial byproduct. Or
I'm guessing that's what it is. It's probably due to how they, contain the milk,
right,
or how they, something works on their assembly line. I could probably look up the article.
Can we please talk about how vanilla, natural, what do they call that, love? You look that up for me? It's not really vanilla. It's natural flavoring. Vanilla is actually a secretion of like a anus juice from a beaver.
It's delicious.
Will you look that up, please?
What can we say?
So, but why not just use like the actual natural substance? Why not? Why do you need to have this? Well, it tastes, first off, who's the dude that found out that juice tasted like vanilla? Some dude in the woods looking at an asshole of a beaver like, ooh, I can make this. I'm sorry. It's God. Read that off to me, Irene, please. Dave, listen to this.
I'm trying to not listen to anything.
No,
right
listen
now.
to this, please.
Beaver butts secrete a goo called castoreum,
And that's what they put on the back. It says castoreum. And so you're like, oh, what? It's a thing. Go ahead.
which the animals use to mark their territory. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration lists castoreum as a generally regarded as safe additive, and manufacturers have been using it extensively in perfumes and foods for at least 80 years. According to the 2007, hold on, it's making me pay for an article.
But the point is, bro,
Just pulling out her credit card.
the point is they call that natural. Like, why can't you just use vanilla? Why do you need to use the secretion from butt of a beaver. And once
natural.
again, who's the guy that found that out? Just saying.
Well, and that's why I say careful what you wish for. Some folks are like, make it healthier, remove the lead. But like it comes at a cost. Like I said, you got to pick your poison. Sometimes it's beaver butt, sometimes it's lead, sometimes it's
as a society, we're just adding, we're so corn syruped up. Everything has sugar in it. Like you could barely buy like chicken nuggets anywhere without having added sugar. And it's like, why do you need to have that on there? It's like, well, they do it in the seasoning, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, my goodness, you can't not have sugar going in you. And we're not designed as humans to have that much sugar all the time being processed. So anyways, I'm ranting. Go ahead.
So I'm reading an article. Were you still looking something up? I feel like we cut you off.
I asked you something.
No, someone making me pay for an article.
She was paying for an article.
I asked you how old Mr. Beast was. Did you ever tell me how old he is? Like 26?
24.
24.
He's young.
It's when I was 24, I was still trying to figure out how to like properly like talk to a human. I was such an idiot. And he has 110, like 200 million between all of his channels. Go ahead.
I'm in the middle of eating chocolate right now, so specifically Hershey's, as I'm about to read about the lead content in Hershey's.
Oh, please do.
Okay. So Consumer Reports, and this is reported by Reuters, tested chocolate bars, including those made by Hershey's late last year, and found that some of them contain possibly harmful levels of lead, cadmium, or both for people who eat more than 1 ounce per day. I think we're eating more than 1 ounce here. The trace amounts of the metals found in some chocolate are below any recommended level, any standard.
Below any recommended level. So someone out there is like, you're okay at this level of lead.
Well, they're saying, so this guy they're interviewing, he says that they're naturally occurring elements in the soil and can occur naturally in the product. Depending on where you source, you may get relatively more lead or cadmium in West Africa versus South Africa, or South America, excuse me. But in both cases, it's a naturally occurring ingredient.
Yeah, but how'd it get in your food, bro?
He said the manufacturing and cleaning process for cocoa beans removes the vast majority of lead and cadmium. Hershey is evaluating if it can remove more of the metals through additional cleaning of cocoa beans or alternate sourcing.
That'd be a good advertising campaign for Mr. Beast. Only 5 ingredients, and one of them is not lead.
Yeah. Like I said, the company 2022 revenue, $10.4 billion. Their current market cap is $50 billion, 50. They have over 16,000 employees, 16. Yeah, I kind of dove into Milton Hershey to learn about his story and kind of the founding of the business. I don't know if it was something you had time to look into, but so at a pretty young age, he got into working at a candy store. And at a pretty young age, he then also opened a candy store. But his story is one, especially as up into his 20s anyway, it's basically him working at different candy stores under the tutelage of different candy store owners who each one of them, come to find out, kind of had like their specialty new thing that they were doing. That was kind of new to the market or new to that area geographically. He learned how to make caramel with modified ingredients or something from this person.
Lead?
Maybe. That had longer shelf life. He learned, like, when he got into the industry, the candy industry, it wasn't much of an industry. Like, I guess it sounds, this was like in the late 1800s, but it sounds like a lot of candy recipes were very vague. They were up here versus like on paper anywhere.
Yeah, this is since 1894.
Yeah. So he, I would say, revolutionized sort of the manufacturing process of candy. But
that was the industrial age. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you told me he went bankrupt, what, 3 times?
Several times. It was at least twice. He had this really, I would call it like a pivotal moment, not only in his life, but in the story of Hershey's as a company, because I think if this specific thing had not happened, we wouldn't be sitting here eating Hershey's right now. He had at least 2 bankruptcies by this time and had started over multiple times, like I said, at different locations, different candy stores of his own. And he was making these caramels that had, like I said, a longer shelf life, some kind of little bit different ingredients. It had something to do with like the combination of sugar versus milk, how the milk was prepared, on and on. But there was this British importer, I guess, that tasted the caramels and really liked them and wanted to place a big order. And it appealed to this guy because if in fact the shelf life was what Hershey said it was, it could make the trip overseas. It could last to get over to Europe. He basically said, like, fulfill this order for me. Like, here's how much I want. If it makes the trip, then I will pay you for everything, and we will.
If it makes the trip,
yeah,
shoot,
and we will place more orders. For one thing, he didn't pay anything up front that I'm aware of that I could see. So it was like, just prepare all of this, and again, if it makes the journey from Europe, I'll send you a check, basically, which is kind of like, all right, that's a leap of faith.
That's not a leap of faith, brother. That is a close your eyes and just jump in the pit. That's
so. He unfortunately at the time did not have enough money, Milton Hershey, to fulfill the order. So the order was large enough that it was going to require him to hire a few people to complete it. He needed the raw materials, the supplies. He didn't have it. So
wow, I didn't know that.
So anyway, he needed this money. So he went to the bank. He needed $700. That's all it was. This was again late 1800s.
That could have been $10,000.
So
can you do the conversion real quick in date, if you don't mind? Sorry to interrupt you.
I probably can tell you close to what it is in a second. But at the time, it was $700. The bank though wouldn't give him the loan. He had bankruptcy a couple of times. He had along the way, like a lot of his early days was just like he would take money from whoever would lend it to him. His uncles wouldn't lend him any more money. They had lent him a bunch of money in the beginning. Not that much. It was $100, I think, back then. So he was actually he got denied by the bank, and the loan officer who was working with him gave him a personal loan, like outside the bank.
How convincing are you?
Right?
That the bank won't loan you the money, but the clerk is like, hey, bro, can I get on this action?
Right? Exactly. So he lent him the money, like personal,
whoa,
man-to-man loan. And long story short, the Caramels made the trip, and he got paid. His payday was $65,000. Yeah. So
for a $700 investment.
Yeah. So he paid all his debts, which there were plenty leading up to that point.
Wow. $65,000 seems like a lot now.
Yeah.
What is that in 1890 or 1894?
It's a lot.
Like, is that $1 million?
Probably not. I bet not. But it's a lot.
Well, let's take a guess. Oh, she's got it.
I bet you
Damn, she's fast.
I bet you it's $600,000.
I still think it's $1 million.
Just building the suspense.
$65,000 in 1890 is equivalent in purchasing power to about $2,148,857.14.
See, inflation is
a big order.
Bitch, man.
Ooh, yeah.
That 2% inflation.
That's crazy, Irene.
That money is fake. We'll talk about that one day. But basically, if you just took $65,000 back then, stored it away, it's not worth that much now.
Yeah.
Man.
So
$2 million. So what's $500 then? So that's a substantial investment.
Yeah. Or $700. Irene, sorry, $700 was what he needed. So the initial. Okay.
We'll see what.
Which still, like, proportionally, regardless of inflation, $700 in order to get $65,000 is like, that's not. Maybe he already had some. I don't know what else he invested. Like maybe he had
the chocolate,
$3,000.
Wouldn't it suck if he had all the machinery but couldn't buy the chocolate?
Yeah.
Or the caramel? Because we've been there before. Yeah. What is it?
$23,141.
So that clerk gave some money.
Yeah.
I hope that clerk made twice his money back.
Yeah. Wow. So pivotal moment for Milton Hershey and for the company, but the rest is kind of history. The company obviously became huge. They've bought all these other candy manufacturing companies over the years. He built cities, like you were talking a little bit about that, like
for his employees,
Hersheyland, and he did it in South America, I think too.
Yeah, he built towns for his people because he'd go to a place. He wanted to be closer to the cows. Instead of shipping all the milk to the factory, he wanted to move the factory to. And
that's why I think he built the city in South America as well. It was for the sugar, the cane sugar. Sure. I think.
Back then, things were done just like, this is traditional. This is how we've done it forever. And people really adhered to that. And it took people like Ford. It took people like Hershey, and it took people, to just break that mold and kind of bring in that industrial age. And I think he did with his chocolate.
And so an interesting crossover with Mr. Beast and Feastables is the reaching further up the supply chain and getting in on that business too. So Hershey had the foresight to recognize like, we need to be in the dairy business. We have this, our whole business is built on milk chocolate. It says it right on the wrapper. It's milk chocolate. We need to be in the dairy business. And then we also need to be in the sugar business. So he was like I said, reaching up the supply chain to own more of the process, own more of the, the fulfillment of the product. And it seems like that's the case with Feastables. It's this company founded by Jimmy, and they're owning the distribution and manufacturing of this candy. So,
and he's got it in Walmart. That's a big deal. People don't realize millions of people go through Walmart doors in a week. Millions.
I don't know if we can say the same for like Prime, by the way. We did a podcast on Prime. I don't know that they're doing the manufacturing and distribution of that product.
No, they partnered with somebody.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a manufacturer.
And I don't mean to discredit what, Logan Paul and who is it? KSI?
KSI, yeah.
Yeah. Good on them. But I think if you can anytime own more of the whole sort of ecosystem, the better off you are.
Well, on that fact, Hershey's not only just bought up all of their own, they started buying up, as far as they got into the sugar, the milk, the chocolate, and then they got so big they couldn't go anymore. They started buying Kit Kat, and then they got M&M, Reese's,
M&Ms,
and they've owned everything. And so a lot of it, when it goes back to Jimmy and his crew, I'm proud of him for even endeavoring to get into this field, because it's brutal. And I think Jimmy's finding that out right now, how brutal it is. But it's good stuff.
I'm just going to sit here and just chew on it.
All right. Well, this was definitely a selfish podcast on our part. We wanted to eat a lot of chocolate. Here's my takeaway. Don't fast from sugar for 2 weeks and not eating for 1 week and then come eat a bunch of sugar. It's not a good idea.
I'm having a blast. You got any more?
I'm having a blast too, but I'm a little bit wired.
Is there any more of this Feastables milk chocolate? Is that over with you, Irene?
Right here.
Is that it?
I believe this is it. I'm not 100% certain.
Did you touch all of it?
I did.
This says chocolate sea
I touched it with D's nuts.
I'm really unhappy right now. You're lucky that I'm eating chocolate.
Do you have D's nuts back there? So I think with the success of D's nuts, as far as just the humor behind it, I think he's going to come up with more funny, names for him. And whether this is a hobby, which I don't think it's a hobby, I think there'll be some success, and they might get, I don't know if purchased out, but maybe someone like Hershey's would do the distribution, get them into more stores. They take a cut of the pie.
We talked about Jimmy Donaldson and Mr. Beast broadly before we did a podcast on him. And one of the things that he's said in interviews in the past is that he was asked whether he would rather have, I think he was asked, what's more valuable, X amount of dollars or attention? I think was the question. And he said attention. That I think is really accurate for one thing, but really insightful, because attention can lead to all of this. If you have a following that is engaged and you have viewers who trust you and are on board with your brand, you stand to create so much more value. That continues to resonate with me, that he's capitalizing on his attention. And I think that's super wise. Yeah.
Back the way it used to be.
Business pro.
Business.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
there you go.
I hit the wrong button. Hey, business pro.
Either works. That's why we got them both.
Hear me out on this. Back in the day, someone would create a product in a factory. No one knew who made it. No one really cared about the CEO. They would pay money to TV shows and radio ads to get hype. Mm-hmm. And then they would sell the product to the people.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening, you're seeing all these kids create the hype, create the channel, making some money with advertisement through that. And then they come up with the products. And it's almost completely reversed.
It's almost like they're brand, their personal brand and YouTube channel has, like, no pun intended, but it becomes the distribution channel for, these other products. And again, I'm not talking about like affiliate marketing where you're just kind of, you're showing someone else's product or featuring someone else's product and you get like a little cut of the sale. Like I'm talking about these examples where you have these pretty big stars, like social stars, YouTube stars, and they're creating products. Like that's a big deal. They're going to market with net new products with great success to the tune of like $10 million in this case.
And that's not chump change. He may not.
It is for me, but
he may not be in profit yet.
Yeah.
If you have 10 million in chump change,
but he can't have that much like marketing expense. You know what I mean? Like he's because that's everything you're saying right now is that like he already has this foundation and this like the distribution is there in terms of the messaging.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to take a tour of their factory. If it's in Chicago, let's go up and we'll check it out. Jimmy? If anybody knows, please let us know in the comments below how to get a hold of them. I'd love to go see it. I'd love to tour it.
I know how to get a hold of them.
How's that?
I scan the QR code and there's a big contact us right here.
Ooh, I like that. I'm also one that would just rather drive up unannounced, knock on the door with a camera. That's worked for me more times than anything. Hey, do you mind if I film? Blah, 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 blah. It's worked. Irene, how many times? 1,000 times.
I was hoping there'd be a phone number we could call.
I want to just say that was a fun podcast with a lot of food. Try it out. Go to Walmart, buy it. Check out the app where you can actually take pictures of it, the messy shelves before, clean it up. You might actually get a chance to win $5,000. I don't know the odds of whether or not you're doing because you're going up against about 1 million teenagers a week to try and you. Dave, thanks for doing this. Irene, thanks for switching. Hopefully you had enough chocolate. I think I did.
I'm still working, so
do we wrap it up?
Carry on.
Do we wrap it up?
Keep at it. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Go try these nuts. And he said he doesn't like these nuts. I say I do like these nuts. My wife doesn't like these nuts. But you should go see if you like these nuts. Bye.
Why do I laugh at these things?
Because we're all children, my friend.
The thoughts and opinions on this show do not reflect those of our advertisers, employers, or other affiliates. The content should not be considered legal or financial advice. The Chasing Mountains podcast is a production of Chasing Mountains Media.